Okay, good. I'm recording now the good part. John, why didn't you say something? Okay, people won't see that rant in the beginning. we might have to do that over again just for those, right? So anyway, so I participated in this coaching program, and Dan gave us a question to ask that was studied by trial attorneys, and the trial attorney said that they have never seen a question so powerful in their lives. And I don't want to go into depth of the question or whatever. We could do it another time, but I just want to give it to you because it's very powerful. You ready? So, Jeff, would it be okay if I ask you a question? Jeff, if we were sitting here 3 years from today, looking back to today, what has to happen in your life, professionally, financially, for you to be happy with your progress? Buckle up, put a ticker lock on it, and just listen. Because when I just asked Jeff, if we were sitting here 3 years from today, most people can't look 90 days in front of them, correct? They can't. But if Jeff answers me and he gives me a boatload of goals and this and that and everything else, that's pretty cool. I've got someone to work with, don't I? It's a very powerful question. If we were sitting here 3 years from today, if Jeff doesn't answer me, look, I have nothing. Do I want to continue going on and wasting my time? But if Jeff says, I need $30,000 for this, or I need this, or I need that, or I need this, or I need that, fabulous. Okay? So Jeff, would it be okay if? Would it be okay if I asked you a question? Jeff, if we were sitting here 3 years from today, looking back to today, what has to happen in your life for you to be happy, and if there's anybody from Canada, with your process? America, we say process, Canada, process, and so on. What has to happen in your life? Wow. When was the let me make a recommendation to everybody right now. And that is to a friend, a family member, a child, a parent, ask that question to them. So Cynthia, if we were sitting here 3 years from today, looking back to today, what has to happen in your life to be happy with your progress? When was the last time you were asked that question? When? It's very unoften. Bridget, it's a powerful question, isn't it? Janet, powerful question. I'll never forget when I came home from Canada that day, I was so excited to use that question. And Xavier, our oldest son, I'm trying to think, he had to be 7 years old or something like that, right? And I asked him, and he just went, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And then, you ask an adult or whatever, and you kind of shock them. Think about that. It's a very powerful question. So let's continue. Let's keep going on with the questioning velocity. I want you to get this stuff. I don't, my purpose today is to give you ammunition and tools to focus on the people that we're talking to ask good questions. That's powerful stuff. I don't want you to be the traditional network marketer where people just throw up on people. They've got diarrhea of the mouth and they just go. Don't do that. I don't want you to be that person. I want you to be a pro and a professional. So in addition to that, you might want to also ask, here's some questions I wrote down that I use. And these are pretty cool questions. So I like changing it up. I use this question, I use that question, but I'm always questioning people. I want to know what they want. I speak to massive amounts of people. Massive. And I want you to understand how important that is. Okay, so what if I said, hey, Janet, just throwing it out there. Would you be open to a side project that doesn't interfere with what you're currently doing? Okay. And Janet answers me, and she says, she could say, what, I'm sending my someone to college and blah, blah, blah. And well, actually, let's go back. Janet would probably say, sure. Most people would say, sure. Most people, a side project imparts remuneration, right? A side project doesn't mean full-time, correct? A side project means, okay, it's something I could do on the side. And it doesn't interfere with what I currently do. Yes, everybody here would love to bring on board a person full-time, but guess what? It's 4% of the population. Why not go after 96% of the population so you can have about 60,000 people in your group, each doing a little bit? That's the whole concept with network marketing. Network marketing is massive amounts of people, each doing a little bit and doing the same thing on a daily basis. That is the epitome of network marketing, and that's how network marketing works. It's simple. So again, Janet, I'm just throwing it out there. Would you be open to a side project that doesn't interfere with what you're currently doing? Janet says, sure, why not? I'm just curious. Why? I'm just curious. By the way, okay, there are 13 words that are so powerful that I'm trying to. There are 13 words. You might want to write these down, everybody. They're 3 great phrases. Now, this is a bonus for today. This just occurred to me, right? You ready? This is a bonus. This is Bobby's bonus right now. Here we go. 3 phrases that are probably the most 3 powerful phrases in the English language that we grew up with. I'm just curious. I just found out. Would it be okay if? Mommy, Daddy, would it be okay if I get ice cream? Mommy and Daddy, would it be okay if I go sleep over Johnny's house? Mommy and Daddy, would it be okay if I get a bicycle? We grew up with that. Or if I said to Bridget, hey, Bridget, I'm just curious. What are you just curious about? I'm just curious. 13 words broken down into 3 phrases. I just found out. What did you find out? What? I'm just curious. Powerful stuff. Now let's get back into the questioning for a second. So I asked Janet, just throwing it out there, would you be open to a side project if it doesn't interfere with what you currently do? She says yes. I say, I'm just curious. Why? Listen. And you're listening. And you could also say something to the fact that, do you ever think that you were made, or that, you were meant to really help other people? Do you ever get the feeling, Janet, you were meant to help other people? And something to the fact that, Janet, were you serious about, you want to buy another home, you got to send it to cut, whatever. Repeat their needs. And then finally, you could just, this conversational, if you're serious about, earning more money, upgrading your home, sending someone to college, if you're serious about, I could show you a way to do that. Would you be open to that? You're not asking them to buy anything. You're just asking them if they're open to it. That's it. Then we could send them the 16-minute video. Then we could send them our sizzle call. Then we could do this. Then we could do that. Socrates always said, questioning is the best method. Questioning. You have to be careful, though. I'll never forget many years ago, this was probably in the early 80s, I went to a program in Florida to learn about selling. And, it's the greatest profession in the world. And most people never give it a thought to become good at it. If you really think about it, it's the greatest profession in the world. It's also the highest paid profession in the world. And most people never give thought to become somewhat good at it. And I went to a program in Florida, I think it was Tampa, and it was by Tom Hopkins. He was one of the first, right? Tom Hopkins, the real estate guy. And we literally had to take tests. We took a test in order to pass the course. It was fabulous. But he always said, you've got to be careful when you question. You've got to be careful because you don't want to put the person in the corner. You have to be careful. Very powerful stuff. It could be manipulative, but we're not trying. We don't want to manipulate people. We just want to be what is called an ethical persuader. That's what we want to do. So getting back, I really believe that first, the challenge that a lot of people have, and that's why you always hear me say, 2 per day, 2 per day, 2 per day, 2 per day, 2 per day. Most people speak to too few people. Too few people. It's not difficult to do 2 exposures a day. It's not difficult to do 5. It's really not difficult to do 10, even if you're doing it part-time. Not difficult at all. That's number 1. And number 2, we need to understand and relate to what I mentioned previously about this being unselfish. And I don't mean in the truest sense of the word. I mean, it is our obligation because of what we do and what we're a part of. What we do and what we're a part of, it is our obligation. This is a game. Our business changes people's lives. It literally changes people's lives. It does. And if you use the right questions, you don't have to come across as this, oh, she's here for dinner. Oh my God. You don't have to feel like that. Hey, Bridget, if we're sitting here, would it be okay if I asked you a question? If we were sitting here 3 years from today, looking back to today, what has to happen in your life professionally for you to be really happy with your progress? I'm just curious. It's like I just love that. It's so powerful. The art of being able to persuade another human being ethically to get them to do what's in their best interest. There's no other better gift anybody could obtain in their life. No other. I love that, the way I just said that. I got emotional about that. So good. Wow. Joe Spallino, where are you? I want to ask you that question. Where are you, Joe Spallino? Hold on.
I'm here. Wait a second.
You there, Joe?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Joe, I think I asked you that question when we sat down about a month ago, didn't I?
Which one was that?
If we're sitting here 3 years from today, looking back to today, what has to happen in your life, blah, blah, blah. I asked you that in the diner.
You did.
Hey, guys, I want you to know something. This guy, Joe Spallino, is just he's just an amazing guy. You want to talk about talking to everybody? There's nobody. You walk 2 feet in front of him, you're done. You're just done. But anyway, it's questioning is such a powerful thing. Hey, would it be okay, Stephen, if I asked you a question? Sure. And it could be you could be hanging out, whatever it is. If we were sitting here 3 years from today, what has to happen in your life? Now you could throw in professionally, financially, personally. You could mix it up. When I was in the financial world, I built a very, very niched firm that only dealt with, listen to this, people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and some in their 90s. I did their estate and income planning, right? We had a big business. It was great. And when I first learned the question, right? So I would go to some of these clients and I would say, hey, Mary, if we were sitting here 3 years from today, looking back to today, what has to happen in your life personally for you to be happy with your progress? You know what, majority of them said? I just want to be alive. I just want to be alive. So I had to shorten the question if we were sitting here 12 months from today. So understand the dynamics of the question, Hey, Steve, I'm just throwing it out there. Would you be open to a side project if it didn't interfere with what you currently do? Steve says yes. I'm just curious, Steve, why? Boom, and just go with it. If I could help you do that, Steve, if I could help you do that, would you be open to take a look at something? Would you be open? Bubba. It's very powerful stuff. And I think we get, we're so enamored. We're part of a revolution. We know that. We're part of something great. My goal in my life, I will spend the next 10 years in this space. I will own 50, 100 cryptocurrency ATM machines in the tri-state area. I'll build my OneCoin business. I'll be heavily invested in Bitcoin and everything else. I love this space. I love it. I just feel smarter. I'm a smart guy, but I feel smarter. I love this space. But we can't take our eyes off of the ball and understand the whole premise of this business and what it's about. Out of all these people I talk to, I literally have a vehicle that could change everybody's life. And it's my responsibility to impart that to them correctly. That's my responsibility. Because most people were never taught that. We all talk about duplication and this and that. And we got to learn the right things to say. And then go, listen, if everybody talked to 10 people a day, if everybody did 10 exposures a day, it's game over. Game over. It's game over. So I hope this helps you. I want you to take your eyes off of yourself, off of us, and let's put them on the people that we talk to every day. When I pick up the phone, I put my headset on and ask them a question. Whether you want to say, hey, John, I'm just curious, are you open to a side project if it doesn't interfere with what you currently do? Sure, what are you talking about? Well, why? And the other thing is learn to keep your mouth closed. Don't talk so much. Learn to keep your mouth closed. Okay, let's move on. Next, I want to talk about, I'm going to close this chapter, okay? Close the chapter. And I want to talk about, Sizzle Call. And then I'll segue into a three-way call. I don't know if we'll get a lot into the three-way call. I'll do my best. If not, we'll do it next year. That's a very, very powerful tool, that Sizzle Call. Jason and Bob did a great job in putting that together. They did a really good job, and I love Sizzle Calls, especially when they're only 3 minutes long. Now, what I do a lot of my calling, a lot of the calls that I make during the day come from a multitude of different areas. They come from people that I've spoken to over the last 5-6 years. Hey, and it's pretty interesting. And they can come from Facebook leads. They can come from cold leads. They're all over the place, right? But I love if I'm doing some cold leads or whatever, and I've got my headset on and I could get, let's say, John on the phone and, hey, John, and I'll go through my little thing, whatever. And then what I'll do is I'll ask him, hey, John, are you open to a side project if it doesn't interfere with what you currently do? Great. Hold on 1 second. I'd like you to listen to something. Let me take a step back. If I've got someone on the phone and we're in conversation And I could ask them, hey, if we were sitting here 3 years from today, looking back to today, what has to happen in your life if you're, over the next 3 years, professionally, personally, blah, 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 right? And I could segue and ask them this. That's a great question. I can go like this. I could say, I'm just curious, are you open to a side project if it doesn't interfere with what you currently do? Sure. Why? Great. Hold on one second. I would like you to listen to something. It's a couple of minutes. It's not long. Hold on. I press flash. Boom. I get my friend, my prospect back on. I let them listen to the sizzle call. Everybody with me? I let them listen to the sizzle call. Once it's over, I press flash, get the sizzle call out. What caught your attention? That's it. What caught your attention? I will tell this to you right now. If you experiment, each and every one of you on this call right now, on this Zoomcast, 40 of you, 40 of us, you experiment doing something like that on Monday with 5 or 10 people, you let me know what happens. And I think you'll be astounded. Now, there's another section to that. Here's the next section. And I've done this for years. Very powerful. So let's presuppose now. Okay, now I'm going to segue. This is a process. Again, I want you to think about for a minute. In the 80s, I know around here in New York where I live, right, where I grew up, where my blood is, go Giants, by the way. I won't go any further, okay, tomorrow. I'm playing the Lions, I think, Detroit. Anyway, sorry, Stephen. So anyway, I remember in the 80s with stockbrokers, right? Stockbrokers couldn't go to lunch until they made 400 calls. Until they made 400 calls before 12 or 1 o'clock. And we're talking about 2 exposures. 2. Think about it. Think about it. So, I want you to experiment. So let's continue with this, right? So if I said to, Amber, hey, Amber, just curious, I'm just curious, and throwing it out there, would you be open to a side project if it didn't interfere with what you currently do? Sure. Why? And then she answers, right? Hold on one second. I want you to listen to something. It's about 2 minutes. Just hold on a second. Boom, press the number, dial, flash, boom, let them listen. Sitting back. Sitting back. It's over. Flash, talk. What caught your attention, Amber? And then from there, Amber, if you're serious about what you said to me, that you want to move, that you need to earn an extra $1,000 a month, that you'd like to retire in 3 years, if you're serious, I can show you a way to do that. Would you be open to that? Now from there, you can go down 2 paths, 2 simple paths you can go down. You could send them our info, correct? I don't care what info you send. At that point, it doesn't matter. Or, okay, here we go. Or you could say this, Amber, or I could say this to Amber. I could say, Amber, I'm working with this gentleman that is leading the charge around the country. Great guy, author, teaching people how to earn 6- and 7-figure incomes. Let me see if he's available. Now, what am I doing? I'm going into a 3-way call, right? Let me see if he or she is available. Let me repeat that. Let me come out of dialogue for a second, okay? So again, I could ask Amber, just throwing it out there, go through the thing, get her on the sizzle call, right? And then after that, after the sizzle call, what struck your interest on that, what caught your attention, blah, blah, blah. And just say, Amber, if you're serious about retiring in 36 months, I can show you a way to do that. Would you be open to that? Great. Amber, I actually am working with this woman who is unbelievable. Unbelievable. She teaches people how to earn six and seven figure incomes. That's very important. What am I doing right now? I am edifying about the person I'm going to bring on, my sponsor. I'm edifying. That's what three-way call is about. We have certain tools in our business. We have certain tools in our business which most people don't take advantage of. And one of the fastest ways to build an enterprise quick, three-way calling. Three-way calling. The correct edification. The correct edification. Amber, I'm working with this woman. She's leading the charge around the country. She's building a massive business. She teaches people how to earn 6 and 7 figure incomes. She's such a great person. She's down to earth. Let me see if I can get her on the phone for a quick second. Now, here's the other thing that happens. Psychologically, if I'm talking to Amber and Amber knows me, Amber trusts me. She trusts me. She does not believe me. It's the way it is. She's known me 30 years. She trusts me, but she doesn't believe me. Okay, that's fine. The minute I bring in, we got 3 people here, right? The minute I bring in this person here, all of a sudden Amber trusts me, but she believes my partner. She believes my partner. It's 2 against 1, correct? 2 against 1. The other thing, when I bring in my partner, I'm not talking to Amber now, and if she's my friend or whatever, I'm not talking about, well, what are you doing for the holidays and things like that. It's business. It's business. When I bring in my partner, my sponsor, I have social proof. I have social proof. Social proof. Now, I want to change this a second. Now, follow me, everybody. I want to change this now. If you are the one doing a 3-way call, if you're the one being brought in, like if Joe brings me in, right? Joe brings me into a 3-way call. I have one responsibility on that call. I have one responsibility. And for those of you that are brought into 3-way calls, you have one responsibility. And that is my responsibility to my partner, Joe Spallino, is to enroll the person he is putting me on the phone with. And if I'm not able to do that at that time, then I need to direct that person to another exposure. That's it. I'm not there just to say, oh, hi. No, I'm there to enroll that person for Joe, like we do. I've never seen, by the way, I've got to say this something about Joe Spallino. I've done with him 3 in-homes. I've never seen someone master the art of doing in-homes. Joe is just incredible. And every time he's done an in-home, everybody's come in. It's just unbelievable. His ratio is just incredible, by the way. So with that being said, if I'm being brought into a 3-way call, that's my responsibility. That's it. My responsibility is to enroll that person for my partner and or direct them to another exposure. And I could take their temperature. I could do it in a multitude of different ways. We could talk about that when we do our next training. But that's my responsibility. That's it. Your responsibility, if you're bringing someone in, is to do the edification process properly. Now, let's go in a different direction. Forget about with the sizzle call for a second. If Steve wanted to get me on a 3-way call with John, and it's at 3 o'clock, well, we got to realize something. 3 o'clock, that call better start at 3 o'clock. Not 3:01, not 302, not 303. And that's not for me saying it, although I have 4 values in our lives, in my life. And there's a plaque in each of our children's bedrooms that says this. 1, say please and thank you. Number 2, show up on time. Show up on time. Number 3, do what you say. And number 4, finish what you start. I think I shared that last week with everybody, if I'm correct. So when we have a 3-way call at 3 p.m., it needs to start at 3 p.m. And if it's not going to start, let your upline, your partner know, downline, whatever, okay? Because we want to show that prospect that we're calling at 3 o'clock, not 3:01, not 3:02. That's important. So it's our responsibility, if we're bringing our upline or our partners into the 3-way call, we need to edify. Now, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. If let's presuppose I want to bring Steve in as my upline to talk to John and I, correct? I want to edify about Steve to John prior to the call. I don't need to have Steve listen to me edify about him with John while he's on the phone. I don't need that. But when I'm talking to John and I'm setting up a 3-way call, I'm edifying about Steve. Well, it sounds the same way. Hey, John, by the way, I'm working with this guy, Steve. He's just absolutely incredible. He's leading the charge around the country. He's teaching people how to earn 6- and 7-figure incomes. He's just a great guy to talk to. I don't want to do that while Steve's on the phone. I want to do that prior to that because I don't want to waste Steve's time. I want to get on the phone, introduce them both, gentlemen, and I want to step back. And here's the other thing, and I'm going to tell you the things that I've done in the past. When people have invited me on a 3-way call and they interrupt me once, now guys, listen, I'm not trying to be a hard nose. This is business. When they interrupt me once, okay, they do another 3-way call with me and they keep interrupting me, I hang up. I hang up. My responsibility to enroll John for Steve. That's it. That's my responsibility. Don't invite me on a 3-way call and keep interrupting and talking to the prospect, but why did you invite me on the call? I have a responsibility as the expert on this call. I have that responsibility. That's the deal. There is such a science and there's such an art to 3-way calling. There really is. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. And there's a science and art to it. And again, it's just it's probably the most underused tool in our profession, but yet it's part of our system of education. It's part of our system of education. And oh, by the way, I just thought about this. If you don't have the sizzle call number, it's 518-777-0073. Okay? So there's a system of education. And, do you want to be, like Eric Worre, he says it best, become a pro. Become a pro at this. So, okay, so what time is it? It's 10:44. So I've got to be out of here at 11. Joe and I have another meeting we got to go to in our favorite place called Starbucks. So let's do this. How about if anybody would like to ask some questions? I love this about Zoomcast. We can ask questions and things like that. It's better than just a traditional conference call. So anybody, if you'd like to ask a question, unmute yourself and let's rock and roll.
Hey, Bobby.
Steven, I knew it was going to be you.
You knew it? Well, I have a little bit of a different situation. All of my upline are in London, and I have no way to contact them reasonably in price. So,
Steve, I'm going to answer that, and I'm going to be very frank with you. I also have no upline.
All right.
I have none. And that doesn't bother me at all. I don't, it's okay. I'm okay with that. Let's presuppose, Steve, I'm going to answer you the way my mind thinks for a minute and just tell you this. Stephen, you just need to become really good.
All right.
You need to become a really good, Stephen, if you follow the things that I just shared with you about the questioning, Steve, about the questioning and things like that, you'll get through that. You'll get through that. Once you bring on 5 more people, then teach them what we just talked about. So now they're getting you on the phone. Stephen, let it start from you down.
What?
I'm sure, Steve, I'm sure Juha did not bring Dr. Ruger on 3-Ways. Most probably. You get my point, right?
I get you.
You get my point. So you have to say to yourself, okay, let me kind of become good at the questioning. Let me bring on 5 people, call it whether it's Christmas time after, whatever it is, bring on 5 people and then teach them what we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
You'll watch that thing just change. Boom. It'll just change.
Well, that's what I kind of figured that I was going to have to do.
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to step up as the leader of your organization here in the States, and where people are getting you on 3-Way called Joe Spallino runs me ragged. I am exhausted.
Okay. He
runs me ragged. I'm exhausted. He gave me a break yesterday because I was in another world with so he called me about 30 times though. But you know what? I love that. 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 So, okay, anybody else? Good question, Steve. Anyone else? No other questions? I'm surprised. Okay. All right.
Wait, sorry, Bobby. I was trying to unmute.
Okay, who's that?
This is Bridget.
Hi, Bridget.
In the beginning, when you were talking about, the massive amounts to people, and when you did 25 kind of like quick messages to people through Facebook, can you tell us kind of a little bit about what that exposure is like? And because I love all the, questions and things of that nature. How are you engaging in kind of like some of those, 25, okay. You're going to get 25 exposures out today on Facebook.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. And, Bridget, I'm still the type that I'm still old school, call it what you may. I love coming in here in the morning and I go like this, I put my headset on and I dial. That's me. It's just, I need, and Joe and I talked about this yesterday. I want to engage because I've built my gifts to a point that I want to use them, and I like using them, and I enjoy using my gifts of communication and so that's number one, Bridget. That's my first play all the time. Not too long ago, year and a half ago, I've come to the realization that guess what? We live with this, right? We live with our cell phone and people respond. In fact, probably emails are kind of dead, right? Emails are dead. We're bombarded by so much email. It's easier for us to change our emails and so on and so forth, right? But people don't change their cell phone numbers. They don't do that. So, and Joe's very good with this, by the way. Joe's really, really good. And Joe, let's talk. I want you to come into this in a second, Joe. Let me just finish, and then you could add some value with Bridget as well. But people will respond. You ready for this? People will respond within 3 seconds to a text message. They will respond. Now, the other thing, Bridget, those 25 yesterday were via texting from my phone, okay? I also did, I think it was maybe Thursday or Wednesday, I also do some direct messaging on Facebook. The only thing I don't like about it, this is me, is I don't have those people's phone numbers.
Right.
I don't like that. I need to be able to pick up the phone or whatever and call you. And if you don't, I want to shoot you a text right away so you get it. I like that better. Where, you know, Jason has enrolled 170 people via Facebook. He's good at it. He's really, really good, right? Now, with that being said, Bridget, I'm constantly honing. I'm honing my message. I'm looking for it because I'm going to read it to you in a second. I'm constantly honing my message in what to say, right? So, for example, it's cool because I just got a response just now from this guy who owns a very successful pizzeria on 3rd Avenue in Manhattan. So I've got to make my message better. And this is the message I sent out yesterday. I mean, I've got to hone it better. But I've got, if Joe, if you want to remind me, or Steve, you want to remind me later today, I've got to look for it. But I've got a whole texting process that when I find it, I could post it in a cryptocurrency economic group. Just remind me, guys, later if I forget, and I'll post it. But Bridget, I went off on this message, right? This message said, "Hi, Angela. Now is not the time for any skepticism or deletes." Whoa. And then I said, "Just openness to learn. Otherwise, you will miss out. So please look beyond how this message is coming to you. What I'm about to share with you is about to change the global economy in a huge way. As a successful entrepreneur, I know you want to be on the cutting edge. I want to introduce you to the peer-to-peer banking and now I got a lot of this. Tom McMurrin and I kind of collaborated back and forth with this, and I modified it a lot. He's using it on Facebook. I used it via texting. I want to introduce you to peer-to-peer banking and disintermediation of the finance industry. Dom Tapscott, Google him, calls it the biggest technological revolution." This is too much, I sent. I got to refine it. It's too much.
It's come down.
What's that?
You're saying that when you're sending text messages, you keep it short and sweet, I reckon.
Yeah. And you know what I have to do, Joby? I was experimenting with these yesterday. Because I'm always, listen, marketers always
Test it.
We're always
Test.
testing. So I tested with this. Out of 25, I got 3 responses. Not bad, 10%. Not bad. But I'm going to change it around today. I'll send another 25 out. I'm not going to involve cryptocurrency, but I'm going to maybe do something else. And I've had a lot of success. Now, Joe, could you unmute yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't you share with everybody what you do? Because Joe gets massive appointments.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, you know what? I have, over the years, I always will take somebody's phone number. And like Bob said, they don't change their phone numbers. They may change where they live. They may change their email, but they're not going to change their cell number. So I have about 1,500 names in my phone. I made up my initial list. I made 500 viable people who possibly would engage. So every day I send at least 20 to 25 texts out. Simple. "Hey, Bob, what do you know about cryptocurrency?" And I leave it alone. I go back to my phone a few days later to see who responded. But out of like 20 or 25, I'm getting 3 or 4 people to say nothing. They say, "I know nothing." Then I have a scheme of text that I send after that. I say there's been 6 financial disruptors, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to miss this. I said, I'm going to send you 2 videos. I send the 2 videos, the ones we use, and then I try to engage them. Usually they'll say, "Wow, interesting." Or if they say nothing, I invite them to my home meeting, which has been unbelievably successful. I'm having at least 1 home meeting every week. Every single person in the room has gotten involved. It's just, I've been in network marketing for years, but it's usually like 1% of the room will get involved, and others will say, "I'll call you." But here, the truth is just so pushed to the front that they can't help but saying, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. So that's what I do. And I got to get more involved in engaging people on the phone. The texting is one aspect, but much more important is speaking to people directly every day. I'm going to start doing what Bob's doing. I'm going to get 10 people on the phone every day. So that's what I do. And if you did it, you'd be successful.
And Joe, and everyone, people, I will say this, we get to use technology in our business, but you know what, when you've got a room like Joe's got a great setup. Joe gets up there, he talks, for about 5 minutes, his story and everything. And then I get up there, I talk a little bit, then we show, 1 or 2 videos, and then I come back and within an hour, and then we use this particular sheet that we got with the different packages and tokens and this and that and everything that I posted. It's incredible. Joe has brought in anybody from a starter package to an infinity package and multiple tycoon packages and executives and so on. I think Joe's going to pop a rank this week as well. And it's just, there's just, we're dealing in the, we are in network marketing and so on, but we've got that twist of money, money, currency. And, when you deal in the money business, there's a large level of trust that's needed. And, it's just incredible. It really is. So if you have not done an in-home, maybe you might want to do one. Try it out. It's pretty simple. They're just dynamite. I love them. I love them. My goal every week is to do, not just me, but for my organization and the people that I work with, is to have anywhere from 3 to 4 going every week. 3 to 4 going, 3 to 4 going. Can you imagine, Joby, if you had in your organization 15 in-homes going a week?
Yeah, it'd be pretty incredible.
It's the name of the game, Joby. It's just the name of the game. It's just very, very powerful. It's a powerful way to do it. But, but Joe is, he's dynamite at sending the texts out and so on. I'll do that after I did my 10 exposures. Yeah. That's me. I'll say, okay, I still got to go. I got to put the headset on. I want to talk. I want to engage. I want to do this. Okay, what next? Because I've got certain things to do every day. Remember we talked about that last week, right? We've got the someday goal. Then we've got the 4-year goal, 2-year goal, 1 year, 6 months, 90 days. And then every day, right? Here's the thing that sits by my computer. You could read that. Can everybody read that? Makes sense, right? This is the most powerful thing that you could do every day. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else is everything else is easy or unnecessary? And what's the one thing in our business? Talking to people. That's it. Talking to people, doing in-homes, doing 3-ways, and so on. So I've gotten to the point where I'm very jealous of my time. I'm very, very jealous of my time. Don't waste my time. When people stand me up, I'm not a happy guy. I'm just not. I mean, I get over it in about 30 seconds, but I'm not. Be jealous of your time. What's the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else is easy or unnecessary? And that comes from the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, which I read about 1.5 years ago, and I loved. Great, great, great book. Great book. Gary Keller, The One Thing. Okay? All right, we've got, it's 11 a.m. I got to stop. So I always tell you, I hope there was a lot of good information in here today. Let's end it with this. Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. We owe it to everybody around us, everybody, to share with them our profession, our business, and how it could literally change their lives. I've seen things in this profession, if you're new to it, that would blow your mind. I've seen things. I've seen people come out and soar. I mean soar. Unbelievable. Don't get your self-image, your ego in the way. Just use the questions. You know, just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. Would you be open to take a look at a side project if it didn't interfere with what you currently do? And then, you know, listen. And then why? I'm just curious. And then go from there. You know, you could listen. I'll post this later when we get back. But don't let your ego, don't let anything get in the way. You've got gold in your hand. Gold in your hand. Go and share it with everybody you love. Okay, everyone, I'm a little emotional right now. I won't see you for 3 weeks. You'll see me working on, you know, our Facebook pages. I'll do live broadcasts, but you know, next Saturday's Christmas Eve, and then I'm going to be doing some traveling with my family. So I wish everybody a merry, merry, merry Christmas. I appreciate you more than you know, and thanks for being you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Ho, 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 ho.
Bye.
Hey, Mark. Thank you for your New York style training.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We love
Merry
you, Bobby.
Christmas.
Thank you.
Love it.
Great day.
Hey, Joby. Stay there a minute for me. Hey, Joby. You know,
Yeah,
there's a big meeting in Tanzania right now, Africa.
is there?
And I'm so excited. I've got a bunch of people going.
Oh, wow, incredible.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool.
Whereabouts in Tanzania is it?
Don't ask me those crazy questions, Joby.
Oh, come on, you know that.
I will be there.
No worries. I'll have a little look, see if I can find out. I'll send my people there as well.
Okay. Everyone, have a great day. Bye-bye.
No, Bob, have a good day, my friend.